Hello everyone, it is me Peep Peep, and welcome to When Winter Ends. I was looking for winter visual novels to play, and this is the one that we shall be playing today. Let's get into it. Are you far from home? No, I'm home right now, if you mean in real life. You woke to familiar darkness. The sound of the wind threatened to pull you back into slumber, but the echoing sound of a door slamming shut surprises you. You got up from your resting spot and decided to follow the noise. Oh, the art is so nice. Who is that fella? Oh. Oh! Look at that! Is there other objects that do that, or is it just them? It seems to be just them. I love it so far. Farther down the halls, you see someone slumping down by the door, cold, exhausted. They have yet to notice you here. Let's approach them. You slowly approach the other person slowly. They seemed to notice you were approaching, but was too weak to move. Are you okay? Sorry for intruding like this. I thought I could make it to the next village before the storm. Guess I was wrong. Would you mind if I stay here for a little while? You look at the storm outside and you think for a little bit. Alright. You probably wouldn't survive up there anyway. Just don't make a mess. They bow at you gratefully and watch as they sort out their belongings. You cannot help but be curious of the person before you. Where did you... I don't know, maybe how did you find this place? Well, it was pure accident, really. I didn't even know where there was a house out here, even though I'm sure I took this road to the mountains. Maybe I just got careless and ended up wandering all the way here. But boy, am I grateful I could find some shelter here. Really wasn't expecting the snow to get this bad. I see. Perhaps the blizzard caused him to lose his way. You scrutinize the intruder. He appeared to be a little cold. It's kind of chilly in here, huh? Aren't you cold? No, not really. Well, I am a little cold. Do you have something that might help? You think of what you could offer to him. A fire? Can we make a fire in here? Is that safe? I don't think we should do that in here, but we're gonna do a fire anyway. If you really have to, you can use whatever you find here to make a fire. I'll go grab you some blankets in the meantime. It doesn't really matter to me. Everything here are all old and broken anyway. He looks at you doubtfully. Are you sure? I feel a little bad ransacking the place like this. You click your tongue in annoyance. Fine. I'll see what I can do. You quickly go upstairs to grab some blankets. There are 2 blankets in your room. The first is an old, patched-up linen blanket, filled with cotton. The other is a thick, knitted wool blanket. You decide to give him the wool blanket? I mean, we're not giving it to them to keep, we're just letting them borrow it. So we're gonna do the wool because that's the warmest. Wool is really, really warm. As I've heard, I don't have anything like that. You decide to give him the woolen blanket. It should warm him up better than the linen blanket. Definitely. You return with the blanket to find the poor guy curled up on the sofa, trying to stay warm. You hand him the blanket, which he accepts gracefully. Thank you so much, and sorry for the trouble. You nod slightly. You watch him for a bit, but he still seems to be struggling with the cold. It's probably unavoidable that you'd have to get a fire going. You decide to look for materials to build a fire in. Why not in the kitchen? Can we go to the kitchen? Oh. You examine the sofas. It's too difficult to take apart the sofas itself for firewood, but you find that it is stuffed with straw and core. It would make a fine tighter, it would make a fine tinder to start the fire. Okay, nice. Maybe these curtains? You can't click on them. Okay, maybe these curtains. Oh, you could probably grab the vines to start the fire. Although I guess I clicked outside. But it's the only thing blocking the winds outside. It's probably not a good idea to take them. Okay, well now what? Maybe this? You examine the picture frames. You feel a little bad using this as firewood. You take apart the painting and break the frame into pieces for kindling. You aside the canvas within to keep. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because this is an abandoned house, so it isn't really that big a deal. You came back with several items that may be useful with starting a fire. Do you think you can make a fire with these? Oh yes, I think so. He takes a look at the item you brought and looks at them doubtfully. This picture frame, is it really okay to use this? You take one last glance at the broken paintings. It's fine, it's not like we can fix it. I barely remember what's on them. You look away. It honestly feels bad having to use the paintings as fuel. This place was abandoned, so it doesn't matter. But there's not much else you could use. You know, it's either that or oh, keep the paintings, or you're gonna die, so you gotta stay warm, buddy. You also didn't want to deal with another possible dead body here if you just let the poor person freeze. You hear him break apart the objects and watch as he goes through his inventory. Wait, so is this our actual house? Am I thinking this wrong? Is this not an abandoned house? Is this where we live? Because our house looks pretty messed up if it is. It looks like it's falling apart. But, you know, whatever. He carries the items to the old, destitute fireplace, and you watch as he set up a small bonfire. He starts by setting up the tinder in the center of the fireplace, and then carefully placing the bigger sticks around and over it like a tent. You never really had to make one before, and so you watch with great interest. And he then takes out a small box. Inside lies a few sticks with a bright red ledge. He strikes it against the box, and then the fire appeared, as if out of thin air. Cool. Oh, you look cute. He catches you watching intently. What is it? Oh, no, sorry. I didn't realize that's how you build a fire. You never built a fire like this? Never learnt to. How did you stay warm before this? Well, it's not that cold for me. Wow, it's a literal blizzard outside, and you're telling me you don't feel cold enough to light a fire? You shrugged. Well, you seem quite interested. Shall I teach you the basics? Sure, yeah. Well, you watch me make a fire. Shall we review a little? To start a fire, you need a few things. The obvious you need is wood. Yes, you'll need some dry firewood to keep the fire going. Another thing you need is some tinder, which catches fire easily. These can be anything, ranging from dried grass, paper, wool. The most important part is that the tinder is placed under it. Yep, placing the tinder under the logs will make it catch a fire much more easily. It's because heat and by extension, fire moves upward and outwards. To keep the fire going, you'll need to keep feeding it with burnable pieces or kindling. And finally, for safety reasons, you should put out the fire right before leaving. It's probably not a good idea to leave the fire alone, or even if the flames are gone. Always make sure that there is no heat, smoke, or embers left. This is to prevent accidental fires. It's complicated, huh? Might be easier to learn by doing, maybe. The two of you watch as the logs slowly catch fire. The flames dancing on top of a mountain of wood. Which reminds you, you still have no idea why this person is walking around the mountains in the winter. You decide to ask a few questions. What exactly were you looking for? What I'm looking for? I'm surveying the area for flower bulbs before spring comes. Why? I'm studying them, I guess. I didn't really have anything better to do since I can't come home for the holidays, but also it's quite a sight to behold on itself. Even if I wasn't studying them, I'd probably go and see the fields once winter ends. You can't return home? Yeah, traveling abroad has been kind of rough. I probably could go back home, but I'm unsure about being able to return here later. Is that something to be worried about? Isn't it better to be home along with your family right now? Well, I do miss them, but this is a difficult opportunity to come by. And they've been supportive of me going here. I can't disappoint them by returning empty-handed. I see, that's rough. I guess there are perks to living alone. You really live in this place alone? Don't you get lonely? This house is pretty big for one person. How'd you end up here anyway? What do you mean? I grew up here. He looked at you confused. You used to have more people here, though. But it's only me now. Well, considering the state of this place, why don't you leave as well? You think to yourself for a little while, what if that binds you to this place? Nostalgia and memories. Despite how it looks, I hold a lot of memories of this place. I'm not sure I'm ready to leave yet. Okay, so this is our house. It's just really messed up, and for some reason we can't fix it, or maybe we don't care to, because again, the cold doesn't really hurt us, so I guess there's really no need to really fix it up if it's not really going to keep us warm, because we don't care. I know it's stupid, and the entire place is crumbling down, but I like to stay here as long as I can. That's fair enough, I guess. I sort of relate to that, except I'm unable to go home at all. Well, and all. But still, this place is quite literally falling apart. It's not safe here, is it? Wouldn't it be better to move? It's not like you can't return here. And perhaps maybe get some help to fix up this place? I don't know. You consider it for a moment. It won't be the same, though. This place is no longer the place you knew and loved before either, right? You knew he had a point. But it was hard to accept that this place is already ruined. You turn your eyes to the fireplace, the flames slowly consuming the timber beneath. Hey, why don't you try to come with me to the village when the storm ends? Maybe we'll find someone who can fix the roof too. At least, it would be a little more livable and comfortable then. What do you think? I'll consider it. I'll think about it, I guess. I wonder though, have you never thought of leaving this place? I have not, going to lie. Especially since there's not much left here. It's easier said than done, I guess. Fair enough. Oh, by the way, here. He hands you a rolled up canvas. It seems to be the painting that you took down before. I thought you might want to keep it. Oh, that's so sweet. Now that I know this is our house, I can understand that painting could mean a lot more, because depending on this time period, the paintings could be actually made by someone we know, or, you know, because if it wasn't, you could probably not care as much. But even still, it's, you know, a painting, you want to care about it. Oh, thank you. I'm an artist, by the way. I'm thinking of trying to stay warm more than having something look pretty, you know. If I may ask, what was in the painting, if you remember that is? It was a landscape painting, I think. A snowy landscape of the woods around here. There was someone who loved this painting dearly. They especially loved the droopy white flowers on it. Droopy white flowers? Like snowdrops? Is that what you call them? He laughs. Oh, what fate. That's the flower I've been looking around for. Huh? How strange. But why are you looking for it? Well, they've been on the decline recently. People taking away the bulbs and selling them for commercial use. Oh, that's unfortunate. No wonder I haven't seen them around during the last few years. I sort of wish to see them again. Well, if it makes you feel better, quite a few of them are still around. If you decide to join me when winter ends, we could go see them perhaps. Say, I've been wondering though, don't you get lonely living alone out here? Didn't he already ask that? Maybe it's because I'm used to being around people, but I can't imagine living out here alone in this desolate house. Even I get lonely traveling here. Traveling here alone. You think about it a little bit. Is it lonely out here alone? Not really. Maybe I'm just used to the solitude. But I don't really feel lonely here. That's how I think it would feel. How this person feels, probably. That they just would be used to it. The same way you're used to the cold. You might think me pitiful, but I've never felt like it was a pity staying here. Oh, sorry I didn't mean it like that. I can't help but be a little worried. This place doesn't protect you from the elements, it doesn't keep you warm. It barely serves you anymore. I don't really understand why you'd stay. Well, they are a traveler, so maybe they're not used to being home. They just always traveled and never really stayed home to begin with, so maybe they don't fully understand. But even so, the house is falling apart, so I do understand. It's not as if you couldn't bring the things you love with you, and it seems like none of your loved ones are here. Could you really call this place a home, then? You're right. No one I care for about lives here anymore. And there's really nothing keeping me here. At least, nothing I can't bring along. But I don't know where to go if not here. What would you do if the people you cared about aren't around anymore? Well, if it were me, I don't think I'd ever lack things to care about. I'd find someone or something to care about. Or something else to care about. There's plenty of things out there I can come to love. I think I can always find a new place to call home. You mull over his words for a little and frown. You still have a home to return to. Well, it wasn't always like this, even for me. I was pretty much kicked out of home once. That's been pretty tough, pretty rough, but I'm glad I found another place I can call home. Okay, so I had a feeling that was kind of why. Well, you know, he got kicked out, so it's kind of hard to, I guess, I don't know, because we have two different situations here. I'd argue that a home is anywhere with things and people I care about. For me, it'll be wherever my lover is. And it'll be where our little puppers are. Aw, I wonder if that applies to you as well. Well, the things here are things I care about. They don't make you seem very happy, though. I guess not. Well, there's nothing stopping you from making this a comfy little home, though. If you fix up the place and make it suit your liking. If you fill it with things that make you happy, regardless of this little place's history, it might just work out. And if you find nothing in this place makes you happy, then there's nothing wrong with finding a different place to call home. Say, what's your favorite color? Your favorite animal? What's something you want to see? There's plenty of things you can do to make this place feel a little more comfy. Regardless, your home doesn't have to be the same place as the one in your memories to make you feel happy. You did mention wanting to see the snowdrops, didn't you? If we can get a permit to grow them, you can plant them and see them easily from your window. Wouldn't that be nice? I suppose I've been too caught up in my nostalgia, and I've been afraid to make changes to this place. I guess I was afraid of moving things that were precious to someone else. And I'm afraid of losing what I had before. Not that they're still around. I guess I'm afraid of letting things go. But thinking about it, I don't even know why I've decided to stay here. I don't think there are many things left in here that can make me happy. I want to find a new home. I think I want to leave this place as is, just as I remembered. But you're right, I should still seek out the things that make me happy, and find myself a new place I can call home. That makes me wonder, what's out there waiting for me? Whatever it is, whatever it is you find out there, I hope it brings you joy. Talking about this makes you feel strangely calm. You can't help but yawn. It's too warm and cozy to feel otherwise. You wonder if you'll be alright, dealing with the cold once the fire's died out. It would be hard to adjust to the biting cold once you felt warmth again. I guess there are plenty of things I'll need to do when the storm ends. It's going to be quite busy, huh? Yes, but I'm looking forward to it, I guess. I hope the storm ends soon. I hope I'll be able to sort everything out soon. And when winter ends, I can go see the snowdrops bloom. Yeah, I would love to see that as well. You watch as the fire dies off into embers, and you find yourself dozing off. The sound of the wind and the crackling logs lulling you to sleep. You awaken into a familiar blanket draped over you. You look around to find yourself alone in the living room. The warm sunlight hits your skin as the dawn breaks over the horizon. You get up from the armchair, stretching as you stand, and folded the blanket that was draped over you. You spot him through the window, crouching in the snow, some distance away from the house. Feeling determined, you approach him. He does not seem to notice. Oh, hello. Ah, that surprised me. So, have you decided to come along? Yes, regardless, I'll need to head to the village. I guess I'll figure out what to do from here. From there. But, what are you doing? Oh, well, looking for some snowdrop bulbs. I see. I did find a few a little further in. But, quite a number of them are damaged from the storm. That's important, shouldn't it? Yeah, but the remaining ones, I'm sure they'll do just fine once this winter ends. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. Shall we head off now? Of course! He offers his hand, and you take it. You descend the mountains, both afraid and excited for what comes next. What? It didn't have an ending, it just ended. Huh. I think I'm gonna quickly look through and see if there's any other dialogue. So I'm gonna say yes for this one. You find yourself inside an old abandoned building. Oh! Okay, so this is my home. So it's my home if I said no, and it isn't my home if I said yes. Okay. You slam the door behind you, locking out the raging storm outside. Well, not quite. A little bit of the cold trickles from the collapsed roof above you, but it was better than being out in a blizzard. You slump down by the door, relieved to have found shelter. It takes you a while to adjust to the darkness, but when you do, you look around at this old, decrepit house. You see someone by the stairs, their gaze fixated to you. You feel flustered. Oh, I didn't realize someone was still living here. I'm sorry for intruding like this. Oh, are you okay? The voice that came out of shadowy figure almost sounded as if it was worried. Oh, yes, maybe? I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, it's pretty terrible to be stuck here with a blizzard raging outside. Ah, right. You wouldn't be able to survive a storm like this if you stayed outside. You can stay, I guess. Just don't make a mess. You looked at the small figure before you. A child. No more than 15, perhaps. Oh, sorry, people who are under 15. You were a child. Sorry, it's true. I'm 22, so not much older than you. Several questions began inhabiting in your mind as you looked at her. You live here? So, you live here? Well, duh. I'm sorry, but what I meant to ask you was, do you live here alone? I'm alone right now. Everyone left already. You sighed, finding it absolutely ridiculous that you've left such a young child in this that they've left us such a young child in this dilapidated house all by yourself. But when was the last time you saw them? I don't know. It's been a while. Why don't you come with me and we'll go look for them together? Maybe they'll be in the village nearby. No, I don't think so. I think it's better if I stay here. But, you can always come back here. Even if you leave to seek shelter elsewhere. It's not like you can't come back here. The house won't suddenly grow a pair of legs and run off. It's not going to go anywhere. When we reach the village, we might even be able to get someone to repair it. What do you think? The child thinks for a moment. That makes sense. But it won't be the same house anymore. Well, I'm pretty sure it was already a very different house compared to how it was back then, don't you think so? Enough. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Why don't you do the talking? What are you even doing here? I'm just traveling. Why are you traveling? Is there something you're looking for? I want to see the world. I guess. I wanted to experience what the world has to offer. Hearing birds singing, meeting new people, experiencing new things. You get the gist. But what is there to see out there? Isn't it lonely being out there on your own? It does get lonely sometimes. And I miss home every now and then, but I still want to see more of this world. And then, when I do return at the end of the day, I'd have many stories to share with my loved ones. I see. But then, why are you traveling now? Why did you leave home in the first place? You laugh nervously. I did expect to be unable to return. I see. Yeah. The two of you stay silent for a moment before you broke it. Hey, it's pretty cold in here, isn't it? Yes it is. Do you by any chance have some firewood or something? Oh, I think we used to keep it in a shed outside. I don't think we can go outside like this. Is it really that cold to you? I have some spare blankets upstairs. And, I won't mind if you make a fire with anything you find here. Are you sure? Yes, it's okay. I thought about it, and you're right, this place is cold, and it has been seen better days. And now there's no one left here but the two of us. I can't fix any of the broken things in this house myself. Wait, so were we playing as a child before? I don't think so. I just think... maybe. Actually, maybe we were. So maybe we were seeing two different perspectives. I don't know. So I think it'll be okay. Alright. As a child scurries upstairs to grab the blankets for you, you take some time to scan the area for items you can use to light a fire. You decide to search for firewood in the living room. You examine the sofa, okay. So... you set aside the canvas within to keep. Having collected some tinder, as well as some kindling, you rummage through your belongings to grab some matches. Having collected all necessary items to start a fire, you crouch by the fireplace. Just as you light the match, you hear the child scurrying downstairs, carrying a bundle of large blankets that seem to envelop her. She stands behind you, peering over your shoulders as you light the tinder and toss it into the fireplace. Wow! How did you do that? That was just like magic. You chuckle at her reaction. It's called a safety match. You see these little sticks inside the box? If you scratch them against this part of the box, it'll create a small fire. I see. That's amazing. It usually takes Mama several attempts to get a fire going. This reminds me of when everyone is still around. We'd sit around the fire like this after a wonderful meal, and I'd fall asleep on the armchair. I've been trying to celebrate teas we did. I even tried to make a wreath. No one ever taught me how to light a fire, though. That's to be expected. They're probably worried you'd get hurt. Ah, yes, that makes a lot of sense. I think my brother told me that when I was younger. I had once tried to eat the flames of a candle. To be honest, I don't remember doing anything like that. But then again, I don't remember many things from that timeline. I can't blame my younger self, though. The fire looks so warm and so pretty. She stares enamored at the crackling fire pit. You watch her stare, starry-eyed at the dancing flames, and decide to ask her, how did you stay warm at a time like this? How did you stay warm before? Did you just bury yourself in blankets? I don't really feel cold, but if I do, I would use the blankets. Oh, I almost forgotten. I'm not sure which blanket you wanted, so I brought a few. In her arms are two different blankets. The first is a knitted blanket made of thick wool, and you could tell it was made with lots of love. The other was made of linen, stuffed with cotton. It's been patched up in several places over a long period of time. I want the woolen blanket. This is mine. You take your chosen blanket, wrap it around yourself. She takes the other and sits on the armchair by the fireplace. Aw, so cute. You sat down on the broken sofa, feeling a lot warmer than you have been the whole day. As you settle near the fireplace, you feel a rough surface touching your arm. You now remember the painting that you took apart. You hold what remains of it in your arms, gently unfolding it. Oh, You feel a little bad, seeing her disappointed face. Sorry, I had to take this down to get the firewood, but the canvas is still intact. No, it's okay. The painting is already ruined anyway. Let's give it to her. You return the canvas to her, which she handles gently. She stares at the pitiful piece of canvas and sighs. I miss them, but they won't come back. I don't know. I sort of want to stay in this house a little longer, and spend as much time as possible before everything is gone. Yeah. There are only embers left in the fireplace, and you see the young girl begin dozing off. Are you getting sleepy? You should go to sleep if so. Not yet. I'll stay here a while longer. It's so warm here. Indeed, it was warm and comfortable. You find yourself getting tired as well. You know, for some reason I feel a little anxious, even when I'm tired and sleepy like this. What is that you're anxious about? I guess just whether the storm will end tomorrow. Whether I want to stay or leave this place. I'm not sure where to go from here. There's nothing left for me here, really. They won't be angry if I left this place, right? What are you even talking about? You watch as she curls up on the armchair and anxiously shuffles around. You think of the things you can do to calm her down. Tell me your worries. Maybe you'll feel better after letting it all out. What is it you're worried and anxious about? I don't know. I'm just anxious. I don't know what to do. Well, I think no matter what you decide to do, I'm sure things will turn out just fine. As the conversation died down, the two of you quietly watched as the embers fade. So when it comes to anxiety, I have anxiety. Breathing can help, but I feel like talking about it definitely helps. Of like, why am I anxious? Just really think about it, you know, and I feel like that can help a lot of grounding yourself, or maybe not grounding yourself, because sometimes I feel like grounding can really help, so, yeah. And the sound of the wind and the crackling of ember lulls you both to sleep. You wake up in an unfamiliar place just as the dawn breaks. You look around, but there seems to be no one else here. You decide to slowly gather your belongings, and you double-check that the fire has been fully extinguished. You take one last curiously look at the house, but it seems there's no one left in here. You leave the house, snow crunching under your boot. You walk away from the crumbling house. You turn your back toward it once more. You spot her on the second floor of the home, peering at you from the window. The two of you stare at each other for a second before she turns away. You slowly make your way down to the village, wondering what will become of that house. What will become of that child? Normal ending too. Did the other one not have an ending for it? Okay, now we're gonna do different things and see what happens, okay? We're gonna call out to them. Hello? The person jumped in surprise. Are you okay? Yeah, I mean, no. Sorry, I'm just a bit of a mess right now. You caught me by surprise. I didn't expect someone to still be living here. You mind if I stay here until the storm ends? I don't think I'd survive out there. I'm gonna say I don't know. I don't know. Letting a stranger break into my house and stay like this is a little... fair enough, I suppose. Still, won't you consider it? I don't think I'd survive out there. I'll leave when the storm ends. And I won't make a mess, I promise. If we say fine, I think it'll just say the same thing. Yep, it does. That's fine. We'll go back and change it later. I don't remember what I said last time. How did you find this place? Oh, okay, I said that one. Why are you here? It's pure accident, really. Oh, I mean, why were you on this mountain at this time? Oh, well, I needed to find something in the mountains. Did you manage to find it? I guess I did. I'll have to come back when winter ends to see it, though. Huh? Is it very deep in the snow? I guess you could say that. Where did you come from? Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from, Kamijo? Well, the mountains, I guess. And, well, before the village, I was staying at the village southwest of here. I was only planning to stay until spring comes, though. Ah, I meant... Oh, no, never mind. The person seems a little tense. But that's fine. You don't really care where he's from. After all, you will soon part ways. Okay. Blankets. Would you like a blanket? There should be a few upstairs that I can lend you. He looks at you hopefully. Yes, please, thank you. Okay, let's give him the patched up linen blanket. I'm afraid that he'd unravel your woolen blanket. You decide to give him the linen one instead. It should still be able to keep him warm. Okay, the living room. Okay, we did the living room and the other one before, but let's just see the books. Take a look at the books. It's a little too moist to use to start a fire, but you take it anyway, just in case you can't find anything else. This, you notice the wreath hanging above the fireplace. It's relatively dry. They're made of different kinds of sticks. This would be perfect to use as both tinder and kindling. Maybe the bear. You could tend to using the toys to start a fire, but the toy, especially the doll, has absorbed more moisture that you'd like. You examine the empty pots, but there's not much inside but some moss. Could this be used for tinder? You reach into the pot and try to scrape off some of the moss, only to find that it's too wet to use. I guess we can only use a few things. Let's use this. Examine the sofa. It's difficult to take apart the sofa to have firewood, but you... Okay, we already know about that. We need this. What else could we use? He notices the book among the items you brought. He goes through the book. It's been mostly gone and damaged, but he seems interested in it. Wow, this is a pretty old book, huh? Somehow the story seems familiar. It's a fairy tale called The 12 Months. Ah, that's the one about the girl who goes out collecting out of season plants, right? It doesn't sound very exciting if you say it like that. If you say it that way. Sorry. He takes a look at the item you brought and looks at them doubtfully. Okay, we already read that. Okay, we'll say no. I'm fine. All right then. You're not from around here, are you? Ah, indeed, I am not. I'm only here until spring to observe some flowers that are near here. Are you studying the flowers? Indeed. So, where did you come from? I'm from abroad, really, but here to finish my studies. Oh, cool. It is technically the holidays, but it's been hard to return home right now, which is why I'm trying to use this time to do other things instead. You can't return home? Okay, we already read that. That's all I have. This stupid and broken down house is all I have left. Where am I supposed to go from here? I know it's stupid to stay here, but it's not as if I can just turn tail and leave. That's fair enough, I guess. This place is home. Where else would I go? This is the place I've called home for so long. I know it doesn't look like it, but it used to be warm and welcoming. That's fair enough, I guess. Okay. What else? That's fair. Yeah, that's a good point. It might be nice to leave this place once in a while. Nothing else? Oh! It was a portrait. Oh, we're talking about the painting now. Of me and my loved ones. Now I barely remember what it was like then. Mostly how warm it was. I think we used to celebrate the winter's solstice. I forget how you say that. We make wreaths and sit around the fire and tell stories. And then when the spring equinox came, we celebrated again. We go out and admire the newly bloomed flowers. The forest would be covered in these delicate and droopy white flowers. When was the last time I did that? Droopy white flowers. Could you be talking about snowdrops? Is that what it's called? Oh, that's so cute. Not really. You know, I guess I'm gonna say it does get lonely. To be honest, it does get a little lonely. The leaving is so difficult. How so? Can't you just leave? Sorry, that came out of rather insensitive, didn't it? I still can't help but be a little worried. This place doesn't protect you from the elements. It doesn't keep you warm. It barely serves you anymore. Okay, we already read this. But you're not going home either. Yeah, that's true. It's not like I don't want to go home, though. But it's difficult right now. I do miss my lover waiting back home. And I definitely miss my fur babies. Aw. Fur babies? My pets. And my lover and I live with 2 dogs and a cat. Aw. I haven't seen them in a while, but I still receive letters and photographs from home. Photographs? Indeed, in the end, I want to return home to them as soon as possible. But there's still something I need to do here. That's easy coming from someone like you, with a place to return to and all. Well, what's stopping you from making one yourself? If you fix up this place a little, make it suit your likings, this can be a place you can truly call home. It doesn't have to be this house too. If you find this place has too many unpleasant memories, I'd argue that any place that makes you feel comfortable and happy could be a home. Even better if you can find someone to share it with. Huh. So sweet. I want to rebuild this place. Even if I can't imagine myself leaving this place, I want to call this place my home again. I want to rebuild this place and fill it with things that can make me smile. Oh. It's so cute. I love this little game. Okay, and that's it. We're gonna do the other one now and see what happens. Anxious. You began to consider your options, but it is currently impossible to leave the storm outside. Looking at you, the shadow stopped in its tracks. Are you okay? A sweet and quiet voice is heard from the shadow. You calm down a bit. Oh, yes. Sorry, you spooked me there for a bit. Didn't think anyone is still living here, sorry. If it's alright with you, can I stay here for a little while? Ah, right. Parents? Would it be better for me to ask your parents for permission first? I feel a little bad crashing in an unannounced like this. There's only me. Huh? Where are your parents? Oh, they left. What do you mean they left? They left a child like you behind? Were you abandoned? I don't think it was intentional. And I'm big enough to manage on my own. Are you really? You sighed, finding absolutely ridiculous that they left. Okay, I already read all of this. It's not safe here. But this palace is falling apart, and it could get really cold on days like this. Wouldn't it be much easier if you could stay at a proper shelter? I'll even accompany you to look for your family if you want. I don't think this is a livable home anymore. The young girl seems unconvinced. You can always come back here. Aren't you curious? Aren't you curious about what's out there? Who knows? You might even find your family. We can investigate together in the village. How about that? What if they come back when I leave? I'm just looking for something. What is it? I want to see... Snow. Why not? I want to see snow. I see. I'm just traveling. I'm on my way home. Well, to be honest, right now I'm just trying to get back home. I've been away for far too long, I think. I'm hoping to return as soon as possible. And yet you're also telling me to leave my own home? Ah, right. That said, you're on your own right now. There's nobody left in the house, and I'm only passing by. You see, I personally believe that home is where my loved ones are. And no matter where we go, as long as we have each other, we're always at home. But what happens if everyone you love had left? Well, if we parted ways, then I want to know why. I need to know what happened first. After that, perhaps I'd immediately understand what to do next. And finally, I'd be able to move forward. I see. Yeah. Do you want me to teach you to make a fire like this? To start a fire, you need a few things. The obvious things you need is... Okay, we already did this. Fuel. Some sort of fuel would be needed to keep the fire going. Firewood is one of them. Manufactured logs made out of sawdust and paraffin wax is also an option. Another thing you need is some tinder, which catches fire easily over the logs. That doesn't seem right. Heat moves upward and outward, so you just would place it under or inside the structure. An hour before leaving. You should start putting out the fire around 20 minutes before leaving. This is to ensure that the fire is truly dead and there are no members remaining. A fire like this has a good chance to restart it if it's left unattended. When putting it out, you should ensure that there is no smoke, heat, or embers left. It's complicated, huh? If you decide to come along with me after this, I'd be happy to show you this, as well as many other things. What do you think? Yeah, right. The linen blanket. Okay, so I don't think it changes. Letter Pittsburghs. You don't pick. Why don't you pick one first? Aren't you cold as well? The storm is raging even now. Oh, well, I don't really feel that cold. I'll be okay. You can pick any. You decided to take... Okay, I'll take the linen blanket. You examine the linen blanket closely, notice the embroidery on it. They're varied in colors and shapes. It's a comfy little blanket with borders decorated with little white flowers. The young girl noticed that you were examining the blanket. Pretty, isn't it? Mama was good with sewing. She especially liked the flowers. It used to cover the ground in spring. We've always looked forward to seeing it again. I haven't seen it in a while, though. I asked about the painting. Do you remember what was on the painting? Well, I think the old painting was a family portrait. It doesn't seem like she wants to talk about it. You feel a little bad about it. You wonder if there's anything you can do for her. Offer to repair the painting. Say, do you still somewhat remember what the paintings were like? What if we were to try and redraw it? Redraw? Using untouched kindling, you pull out a piece of coal from the burning fireplace. You roll it around on the ground a little, waiting for it to cool down. With your gloved hand, you smash the brittle coal into smaller pieces and took one of the pieces. All the while, the child watches you with great interest. You drew a rectangle on the ground, marking the territories on your next masterpiece. So why don't you describe what the painting was like? Well, there was Mom in the middle, and I'm on her right, while my brother was on the other side. Mom was wearing a pretty dress with a big shirt. A big shirt. She has light hair, just like mine, but prettier. She let me braid it sometimes. I don't remember if I braided it for the picture, though. I tried to scribble according to her description. I remember sitting on her lap when this picture was taken. I had to stay still for a long time. It was tiring. And my brother had darker hair than us, and much shorter too. He was wearing this cape that he was proud of. He was also used to have this hat that he liked. It had so many soft feathers on it. As you listen to her, you try your best to scribble the things that she described. Not like that. You stop immediately, and she jumps in with a piece of coal in her hands. She tries to draw on top of your scribbles, and you just sat with her, watching closely. I don't remember much about when this picture was made, but I think it was winter like today. Not stormy, though. I think we had a master of paint this before my brother had to leave. Mama said he'll come home soon. He hasn't come home, though. I don't think he will. What makes you think so? Well, he always says how he wants to get out of this stupid little town. Just like that, he was also used to lie to me a lot. Like when he said if I touch toads, I'll get warts. And that there was a scary monster that eats children in the forest. He also said that my nose will grow if I lie. And yet, his nose never grew. You both laughed for a moment. What is it? The drawing isn't turning out how I expected. Yeah, drawing people isn't my forte either, to be honest. It is for me, even though I wouldn't draw how she probably would imagine it. She climbs back onto the armchair, staring at the poor scribbles on the floor. Yeah, I can see that. I'm also bad at this, I want to draw them better, though. You'll get better if you draw lots. If you go out, you might also be able to find someone who can teach you, or even someone to restore the paintings. Really? You think so? Yeah, if you do go, you'll have many more things to draw. Maybe you can bring them back here once you get better. Yeah, if I go out. Yeah, that sounds nice. Aw, I kind of miss it when everyone was still here. It was warm and lively. It's so cold here now, and there's no one else to talk to. Say, is it really alright if I join you? If it gets a little lonely here. You gently nod. I hope that storm ends soon. You watch as she yawns, loneliness clinging in her droopy eyes. There were only embers left in the fireplace. Okay. Oh. Maybe breathing exercises. Take a deep breath. Whatever you choose to do after this, I'm sure things will turn out fine. For now, try to take a deep breath. Breathe in and out slowly and control your breathing. Don't let it control you. Count your breathing along with her. You feel yourself falling into a pattern and slowly slipping into a slumber. Oh, it's so sweet. Tell her a story. How about a short bedtime story? Perhaps it'll make you feel better. She quietly nodded, taking a chance. You remember the books you've taken whilst looking for firewood. Most of them are too damaged, but one book remains with most of its pictures intact. You quickly scan the book, but you didn't recognize the tale within. The child notices your distress. You can make it up or tell me about your travels. Anything is fine. You decide to tell her about your life. You shared with her a small bit of your life story, telling her about how you guys in the mountains to this house. Then you talked about your travels, to the people you've met and the thing you've seen. You found the talk meditative, and when you see the young girl fall into a slumber, you followed. Make up a story with the pictures. You comb through the old book once again and begin improvising a story. It starts with a little girl in a forest. Once upon a time, there was a girl walking through the woods. She walked around within the forest looking for the way home. She spent some time looking for the way home. It was a cold winter, not unlike the one you've been through, and the sun was the brink of setting. The girl wasn't sure what to do, but then she saw a deer. She noticed the deer looking her way. The deer looked at her before calmly walking away, seemingly beckoning her to follow. Either way, the girl decides to follow along. Trudging through the snowy forest as the sun slowly sets on the horizon, she braves the strong winds, but soon finds herself near a group of people surrounding a fire. As if she asked if she could join in the warm by the fire, just like us right now. Indeed. What do you think they're talking about? Probably how cold it is. If I were her, I'd ask for someone to help as well. That's right, she'll probably talk about how she's looking for tea, won't she? Indeed. For now, just like us, she'll seek shelter with them. They'll welcome her with open arms as they pass the night, waiting for the blizzard to pass. Just like us. Yeah. When the dawn arrives, the storm has ended. They lead her to a beautiful garden surrounded by mist. It was a wondrous place, filled with fruits and flowers from every season. Spring violets, summer strawberries, fall apples, and winter snowdrops. They told her that beyond the mist surrounding this place lies the way home. She takes a moment to admire the sights, as none of those things would grow in the winter. What if it's a trick of the eye, or a prank by some mischievous fairies? What do you think she should do then? If I were her, I'd go through the mist and try to go home. Oh, well that's it. Something to do. She strolls through the woods looking for things that may pique her interest. It was a cold winter day. Okay. Gift for someone? She's out there trying to look for a gift for someone. An old woman. She sees an old woman, and the girl calls out to her, hoping to ask for directions. The old woman beckons to follow her, telling her that she will find what she seeks. The girl weighted her options. To be honest, in the woods as the sun sets, or to follow the old lady. Either way, the girl decides to follow along, trudging through the snowy forest as the sun slowly sets. Trudging through the snowy forest, the sun slowly sets on the horizon. She braves the strong winds, but soon finds herself near a group of people surrounding a tree. She asks if she could join in and warm up by the fire, just like us right now. A spirit. As she fumbles along, she found herself staring at a beautiful and mystical spirit. The spirit was perched on a tree and was watching her with great interest. The spirit beckons her to follow, unsure but with nowhere else to go, she follows. Either way, the girl decides to follow along. Trudging through the snowy forest as the sun slowly sets on the horizon, she braves the strong winds, but soon finds herself near a group of people surrounding a fire. Okay, well that's it. Oh, what? You show what remains of the picture book to her. A wonderful garden filled with fruits and flowers of any kind. Oh, I think those are flowers Mama liked. You see her point towards the white flower dappled in the wintry grounds. Snowdrops, isn't it? Is that what it's called? It does look like snow dropping from the plants. I don't think that's my name though. Well, the scientific name for the plant would be Platanthus. I don't know how to say that. Does that ring a bell to you? A little bit. It sounds familiar. Nivella. Nivella. Haha. Nivella? Yes, I think that's it. It's Nivella? Maisabella. That's a pretty name. It's like a flower, Mama's favorite flower. I guess that's me. You see her relieved smile as she recalls her name, familiarizing herself once more. Hey, if it's really alright for me to come along when winter ends, can you take me to see the flowers? I want to see them again, the flowers I was named after. Of course. You watch as she yawns once again. It was me in that story that I'd make the snowdrops and bring them home. I think Mom would like them. I wonder what my brother would like. I guess he'd take the apples or the strawberries. I wonder. You watch as she slowly dozes off and closes the book in your hands. You sit on the old sofa, watching as the fire slowly died out, hoping the storm to end. You wonder what tomorrow will bring. You think of what you want to do once winter ends. You wake up in an unfamiliar place. Okay. Oh, you reposition yourself, and you hear the small thud of something falling to the ground. It was an old and worn children's book. It seemed last night was not a dream. Once you finished packing, you neatly folded the blanket you were using and placed it under the sofa. You pick up your belongings and head out. As you step outside, you see Neva, yeah, I keep saying it wrong. Neva standing a few meters from the entrance. She seemed entranced by the morning sun. She however, quickly notices the crunching of your boots against the snow and looks back at you. The storm ended. And indeed it has. You turn her eyes at the building behind you. I guess it's time for me to leave this place. I can't help but wonder what tomorrow will bring. It's a little scary leaving the place I've always called home. But you're right, there's nothing left for me here. Perhaps one day I could return. Or I'll find a new home for myself. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? You quietly reach out to her, and she takes your hand. Before we go, let's see the flowers, shall we? True End 1. Aw, that's so sweet. Well, this game was really nice. I don't think I got all the endings, but yeah. Anyways, this game was really, really cool. I really liked it, so definitely play the game for yourself and support the person who made this game. And tell me how you felt about the game down below. This is currently an hour of me doing this. I didn't think I'd play this game for this long. But anyways, obviously that when you're watching this, it'll probably be less than that, hopefully. So thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and please recommend me other games that I could play. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.